Hey everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you're on the Lifeboat. It's a midday show on a Friday afternoon. We wanted to come on and talk about a disturbing trend, and it's kind of funny because it's something that I saw, and it's something that Spanx picked up on as well. And I don't know, it's a bit of a bummer. So thought we would. Oh my goodness, that looks like Max Headroom on Jason Ron Steinberger. Wow, that does look a lot like Max Headroom. But we wanted to address this because it's a bit of a bummer, and we wanted to make sure that people understand, because there seems to be a misconception about the lifeboat and who belongs on the lifeboat. And there's a bunch of people who apologize to us constantly. I mean, literally apologize to us every day about being here if they have never had a drug problem. Man, I promise you, people, you got to pay attention and listen to this, because this is serious as hell, right? Connection. Right? What do I preach? Right? The opposite of everything bad is connection. Connection cures so many ills, right? Can you imagine if I said, I don't want you to connect with anybody that's not in recovery? Do you have any idea how stupid that would be? You know what that would make me, don't you? Honestly, we can only hang out with one another. I don't want anybody in here that isn't just like us. What does that sound like? I mean, I'd have to be 1.5 feet shorter, but you know who I'd sound like, right? Yeah, the elf on the shelf. Yeah, it's never gonna be the case, people. We want everybody to be here, right? What we're preaching is connection. So if you've never had a drug problem, I love that you are here. Honest to God. I mean, that's the best case scenario. This was the dream. Honestly, this was the dream. We were really hoping that a bunch of people would show up that didn't have drug problems, because the whole we're all in the same boat thing. Look, everybody in this country and around the world is hurting from a lack of connection. I believe this. I believe this wholeheartedly. I believe this. What we are all suffering from is a lack of connection, and it's tragic, right? It is. I mean, honestly, it's tragic. I'm glad I'm keeping you company, Pebbles. I really am. I've never had a drug problem. It takes us all. You're absolutely right, it does. And you know something? There's something so beautiful about people who come here who have never had a drug problem, because it's cross-pollination. It's jumping the curb. It's getting outside of our pond. Hello, Lisa. This is a huge thing. This is absolutely massive. This is the dream. But we can't have you apologizing for it. Please. And if you think I'm kidding or doing this for show, go read the comment sections, right? My boy picked up on it. And no joke, when Spanx started to talk to me about this, I said, it's in my journal. Like, honestly, it was something that we were going to talk about. I wanted to talk about tonight, but my boy was like, you need to go and talk about this now. There are so many instances of people who start their comment with, I'm not a drug addict. I'm sorry, but I'm here. And man, oh man, don't apologize for not being a drug addict, right? We want everybody here, right? I promise we want everybody here. It would be awful. It really would. It would be awful if this was just a channel for people who are recovering. I'm sorry. That's not the goal of what I have anything to do with. It's not. I think that's really unhealthy. If all of your connections are within one group of people, right? That's an echo chamber. I don't like echo chambers. I think they're dangerous, because they're not echo chambers. They're amplifiers. They're amplifiers. If you cut off all of the voices from the outside, then the voices that are the loudest within will get amplified. And sadly, the next people that take that message will take it farther, and they will take it farther, and they will take it farther. You will see. If I do a show and we talk about medical assisted treatment, there are certain shows that we do that people will pop up in the comment section because they're so used to sobriety channels and people like that, and just start railing on anybody that's doing methadone or anybody that's taking Suboxone. And, we just have to go, hey, you're probably in the wrong room, right? What we do is really different. And I want people here, if they're using, there's nobody we don't want here. Literally. There's a reason we have those simple 4 rules, right? There's a reason for it. Because if you don't break those 4 rules, then you belong here, right? If you have not broken those rules, then you belong here. I don't care whether you've been addicted, not been addicted, abused a little, not ever tried it. You know, we have people on the boat. We have people on the boat that have never, ever ingested anything that can give you a buzz of any kind. I mean, from birth. I think that's awesome. Creepy. We're not mad at you. We're not mad at you. I promise. But I do love the fact that we can just say it. I promise you, I'm not mad at you. I really am not. Let's see if I changed my name here. Spidey is confusing. I thought I saw someone earlier that said they were Spidey. Now I am confused. Hold on one second. People, I'll tell you something else. I went over this on the earlier show and I'm going to go over it again. I had in the last, what are we on? Today's the 12th. In the last 12 days, I've gone in and out of the hospital a few times. So, and I've had multiple appointments as well. So there have been things that have taken me away from what I'm doing here. And there's also been a couple of other things that have happened behind the scenes, but we are behind on emails. I'm way behind on emails. I said about 7 days. We're not quite 7 days behind anymore, but we're busting butt to catch up. But a lot of times people will say, you know what, I sent 2 or 3 emails, and we found out that if you send an email in 72 hours, you send another one. I promise it's not that we missed your first one. It's just that we haven't even got to 72 hours away. It's great that there are that many people that are reaching out. That's a dream. It's a dream. It really is. It's exactly what we want. It's exactly what we want. But it does make it a little bit tougher to be on top of stuff. You know, everybody's allowed to be on the boat. Everybody. Here's what you can do to not be on the boat, right? If you bust on a person's religion, then you shouldn't be here. If you bust on a person for not having a religion, right? If you pull any of that, my God is better than your God stuff, then you need to go, right? That's never going to fit in here. We're not much on mean, right? We don't do mean. If you say mean things, I'm going to kick you out of here. No matter how much you need connection, mean sucks. And I can't control that the world is a mean place. There's nothing I can do about that. I wish I could, but there is nothing I can do about that. But I sure as crap can do something about it here, right? And here, we're just going to make sure that we don't have a lot of, that kind of stuff going on. This is not going to have it. And we've got, you know, we've had a pretty good record. It's a pretty simple concept, people. It really is. It's a pretty simple concept. Yeah, you know what? Boundaries are healthy, to be sure. Boundaries are healthy. It's and we talk about a lot of these things. I'm just bummed out at the idea that the message isn't quite getting out. And the message is connection. The message isn't sobriety. The message isn't the message is connection. The reason we hate the Church of Scientology around here, right? The cult of Scientology is because they preach disconnection, right? When you join our little club, you have to stop talking to everybody who doesn't believe what we believe. Okay. That's bad stuff. That's bad stuff. If you are against connection, I'm against you. I'm going to throw some rocks, right? Or if what you do victimizes children, I'm probably going to get ugly. I'm probably going to get ugly. Those are the groups that I kind of want to toss rocks at, right? And I will probably want to continue to toss rocks at. It is one of those things. But the reason is this show is about connection. That's what this show is about. I've talked a lot about how I love the fact that they're auditing the Church of Scientology buildings, but that it kind of makes me uncomfortable a little bit. The kind of confrontation that I would love to have would be to talk to these people, right? For real. We talked on this morning show. If you missed this morning show, I'm more proud of this morning show than anything I've done in a really long time. And that may not make sense to people that watch a lot of boats, but this morning show, you do a lot of these and you're just, I don't want to say I'm just talking because I'm not. I'm always thinking about what I say, but there's only so much subject, right? But there are times where I feel like I walked away from the show maybe with a better understanding of what I believe or what I think. Does that make any sense? I don't know if that makes any sense. I liked this morning's show. I really did. Care Bear Gratitude. What a cool name. Hey, Jen Miller. How have you been? Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, this morning was one of those shows that I walked away from feeling really, really good about. But I want everybody to realize that this connection thing is really beautiful, right? I dig that. Right? There you go. Who's welcome? Who's welcome? Boy, I hope that this whole I want everybody here thing gets out. Sadly, I get packaged sometimes in such a way that scares people away from what we do. I mean, that's a reality. I go on people's channels, and sometimes when you go on somebody's channel, you think this is really going to benefit what we're doing, and you say to them, what is it you're going to try to represent me as in this interview? And they tell you something. And then that's not how it comes out. Now, the interview is the same, but to clickbait people in, they might write something that doesn't make me look great. And that happens. It's one of those things. So there are a lot of people out there that think criminal before they think anything else. Kind of a bummer. But I scare some people away. And I would love for the message to get out that this isn't a convict channel. This isn't honestly, we're a pretty misconceived channel, I think, in a lot of ways. And you know why I say things like this? Because people will go, oh, no, it's not like that. Because when people come here, they say, I heard about you 5 months ago, but I thought you were this, right? Then I came over, for whatever reason, or I saw you on so-and-so show, and then I decided to come over here. But because of my past and because of how I get interviewed on other shows, I think that what we do here gets overshadowed sometimes a little bit. Now, it's a give and a take. I am absolutely willing to let that happen a little bit because it gets the name out, and that's huge and super important. You know what I'm saying? It's really kind of important that we do that. But so also true crime talks and creates. Yeah, I dig true crime, and I'll be honest, people, it's probably the genre where people are the happiest with me. I kind of fit into that puzzle piece. And what I mean by that is it's difficult to get on on a show that has 250,000 people on it, right? More often than not, people don't have a vested interest to push that forward, right? So it gets a lot easier when you're the resident expert on anything, right? If you're the resident expert on anything, if you know something about a subject matter and you can talk about it with and do so, without cursing a lot, so you're going to get you're going to get their video or their live feed demonetized. But I get to go on some pretty cool shows. Yeah, there you go. Speak of the devils, I'm gonna tell you something. I love that group of people, that family. That's Surviving the Survivor. That is a very, very cool family, man. That's not for show. It really is a very, very cool family. Just a nice group of people. I really enjoy it. Hey, Zach D, man. Good to see you, Zach D. You were watching. Yeah, so people come from a lot of different places. Early on in the boat, it was everybody was coming from Chase the Heat, and you go in and out of a lot of different communities. A guy that was co-host of the Lifeboat for a very long time in the beginning. One of my partners in crime, a guy named Mark Wages. Mark is a huge channel. He's got a 50 or 60,000 people on his channel. He's going to be coming on through health and holidays and everything else. We've been trying to link up for a minute, but I'm hoping to have him on within the next probably 3 days. We've been going back and forth getting this set up, but another really, really good group of people that I think you guys are going to dig. I try not to go on shows if they don't do live, right? I way prefer doing live shows than I do doing anything that's recorded. And this is why, right? The comment sections, this is where connections actually happen. This is where you meet people from different parts of the planet. This is where we find out that we're so much more alike than we are different. And this is where bonds are made. I have friends that literally I love who are dot the planet all over the place. Oh, Lisa, I'm so happy to hear that. Lisa says, I watched your chat on journaling. That makes me really, really happy. I am having a good day. And I love what I'm doing, people. I'll be honest, I'm way behind. And we're a little overwhelmed. Just so that if you're brand new to the boat, if you're listen to this real briefly. So the culmination of a whole lot of stuff that has been happening for as long as the Scovilles have had anything to do with YouTube is coming to fruition in less than 2 weeks. All right. About 9 days from today, my brother Johnny has a reality show that's going to be dropping on Hulu, and there's just a lot going on, behind the scenes, and it's a ruggedly busy time at the moment. But this is the most important thing that I do. Plain and simple. This is the most important thing that I do. There will be changes. This is never going to change. I get pissed. I mean, if you do this 2 hours a day, every day, it's going to drive you nuts sometimes. It's just the nature of the business, especially when there's a lot of people. I interact with my audience more than other people do. Right? Even just this way, right? Reese is the same way. We're an unusual model, right? Where the show is about really, really hot peppers. The show is kind of about Johnny. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's kind of about how Johnny is weaving his way through what he does, where he is, the hottest peppers in the world. It's the quest to find the hottest peppers in the world is what it is, which is kind of Johnny's life. If you really want to know the truth, this man does really eat hot things around the clock, right? Even when the camera's not running, he's a savage. My brother's the real deal. He really is. And since he's nowhere to be seen, he's a bit of a legend, my brother, truthfully. So that's coming out in about 9 days, but that requires a bunch of stuff to be done when the camera's not running. The Lifeboat Journal is coming very shortly too. Really fired up about that. You will, it is on Hulu. It will also be coming to Disney. It's going to be on a lot of different, platforms. I can't remember all the other ones, but it's going to be on a lot of, by the time it's all said and done, because Disney and Hulu have a deal. So this is, it's going to be in about 80 million subscribers are going to have a shot at seeing this. So it's going to be a pretty big deal. And it seemed like it was never going to get here. And then, there was a lot of stuff happened with strikes and with health and with, it's just insane. But Johnny's far more chilled than I am, to be sure. My brother is didn't used to be that way. Didn't used to be that way. He used to be a lunatic. But he's definitely, he's the genuine article, and you don't run into that really often. If you want to know the truth, a lot of times, especially when the person sort of has a character that they play. I mean, Johnny Scoville is, it's over the top with the heat and all that, but I mean, it is not a show. That is who my brother is. He's not playing a part. I mean, Johnny's a lunatic. At Bobo's restaurant. The best huge pancakes. Well, it is hard to go wrong with huge pancakes, right? You know, the biggest pancake in the world. Of course, the greatest pancake ever. Larynx crushing good time, Tommy Bird. um, this is gonna be a ride, people. Right, good, bad, or otherwise. What's coming up is gonna be it's gonna be a trip, and you know Johnny is very, very closely associated with the lifeboat, and Chase the Heat is really closely associated with the lifeboat. You know, Johnny's sobriety, you can't talk to him without talking about sobriety, right? It's like that with a lot of us, I think, but with Johnny, it's really a passion. You know, he really is. He's a dude that's super into the fact that he's managed to beat his addiction. You know, I was once brought to tears and coughs just by standing near somebody eating peri peri. Wow. Wow. That is absolutely crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Honestly, that blows my mind. That blows my mind. Peppers are my new high, says Ashley and Charlie Defoe. I'll tell you something. That's real. That is real. Trust and believe that my brother has my brother treats his pain with capsaicin. That's 100% real. I am not playing with you. My brother treats his pain. You cannot imagine how bad my brother's back is. They put 2 rods down it. They had to remove a vertebra and put one in there from a cadaver. A lot of really, really bad things were done to my brother's back. However, he has managed to do away with all of the pain medication, right? And it made him, it knocked the edge off, right? He wasn't sharp. He wasn't who he was. So he does it with capsaicin. I mean, it takes, boy, he's a stronger man than me, I promise. My anxiety can cripple me and hijack every feeling and thought. Yes. Anxiety does exactly that, right? That is what anxiety does. And you said this beautifully, by the way. It can cripple you and it can hijack every feeling and every thought. The one thing I will say, I struggle with this. I think everybody struggles with this, some more than others, to be sure. But everybody struggles with anxiety. I shouldn't say everybody, but I would bet everybody here, right? Struggles with anxiety. People who have struggled with addiction very often have issues with anxiety. Very often we treated those issues with drugs. But one of the things I found is this: when I'm really suffering from anxiety, the part of my brain that is doing the work is not the thinking part of my brain. It is the emotional part of my brain. And the anxiety is, for me, is tied to memories from my past where my brain was not able to distinguish whether or not this was happening or whether or not it was something I was thinking about. As crazy as that is, that happens. Science has proven this out, that there are times your brain doesn't know that, you know, you're not being chased by a bear. It doesn't know that it is a memory of you being chased by a bear. It's going to treat you the exact same way. And what it was for me, journaling was huge because I would take the emotional part of my brain, and by engaging all of this, right, to make that happen, I have to use a bunch of different parts of my brain in order to be able to write. And by doing that, my emotional part of my brain didn't go away. No, that's not going to happen. But it certainly quieted the hell down while I was getting all of this written out. And then usually I would get out of the house. I did a lot of walking. I did an awful lot of walking. But that was in the beginning. And the more that I worked on this, the less often these bouts with anxiety would come up, right? I still have them. I absolutely still have them. And I would imagine that I always will. But I don't know that I don't fear it anymore. I really don't. I don't fear it anymore. But that's me with everything. At one time or another, I think I've probably suffered with just about everything if it's between the ears, right? And what destroyed me, what kept me addicted to drugs, and what ruined the first half of my life was keeping everything inside. right? It was not connecting with other human beings and telling them what I was feeling, telling them exactly what was going on in my life. If I had taken people aside and said, this is how I feel, right? Something would have been done about it. And I probably would not have had to get high. I would not have had to find a way to cope with the feelings of inadequacy that I had in my life. I would not have had the way to sedate the part of my brain that thought I was a loser, right? I felt wildly uncomfortable in my own skin. This I think happens to a lot of people, right? In different formats, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be that you're feeling inadequate. It could be, any number of things. But I honestly think about it like, ever get in the hot tub, right? Uh, you start dipping a toe in and like getting into it really, really slowly. I was teaching a drug class in prison, and I was talking about something very similar to this. I was talking about facing things because I was struggling really bad at the time with facing some fears in my life because I had crap on the street that I hadn't taken care of, right? There was legal stuff out there that I'm in prison, right? It would be really nice if this prison was going to take care of everything in my life, but there was things out there that I hadn't been caught for, that anyone was going to be caught for. And I was trying to negotiate all of this from the street. It was a fairly scary time. And I was talking about how I was going to just take this head on instead of like cowering about this, because I did that a lot. I was just going to go, you know what, screw it. I'm going to attack this. I'm going to run at my problem instead of running away from it. I'm just going to run at it. And I thought to myself at the time, I bet they're going to find this refreshing, right? I'm going to call them up and be like, hey, I'm in prison, man. If I'll plead guilty right now. I'll do it over a telephone. I could do it through a video feed. If you'll run whatever sentence you give me with the one I'm already doing. I'm in here for bank robbery. I mean, seriously, can we just run the sentences concurrent? But I was going to, instead of just procrastinating and being terrified and waiting until I get out, because they would have run me at the door, found the warrant, and I would have sat there until it was time to go to trial, and it would have been devastating. But I'm that guy, or used to be, really, really badly. And there was a Native American cat in the drug class that I taught, and he was Lakota. Right. But he called himself he was part of the burnt leg Lakota tribe. And he said, do you know how we got our name? I said, no. Right. To be honest, I didn't even know what their name was. Right. But he started to break down the story. And the story, as the story goes, they got surrounded by fire and the entire tribe. And the fire was encroaching in, and they knew it was just a matter of time. And the leader of the tribe said, we're going to run dead square into the middle of this fire. What we're going to do is run at it, and we're going to run at it fast. And we're going to put the strongest and the bravest in the front in hopes that the running might make it a little easier for the people behind them. It's pretty heavy stuff, right? And they got through it. But for an entire generation, every single person you saw, you knew survived that. They were somebody that ran through that fire. And they were so damn proud of that, as they should be, that the tribe became the burnt leg Lakota tribe. And to this day, I mean, obviously none of them are scarred, but to this day, that's a badge they wear with honor and with pride. Maybe we stop running, right? We stop running and just kind of immerse ourselves in some of the things that we've run from for so long. The really insane thing is that these emotions that dog us, if you sat down and you fought them, it might take you a week. It might take you a month. It might take you a half a year. But if you don't, it will eat you alive, and it can destroy the rest of your life, right? It can literally destroy the rest of your life if you don't take the time to deal with it and deal with it now. All right. I really am happy that all of you are here. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really am. I'm glad that you all are here. Hey, squirrel mutt. My kitty just my kitty's just freaked out. See that? Sorry. It's would you believe this? This may be the coolest thing. Tommy, anyone who actually finally got me to journal at 62 years old is pretty darn good. I can't begin to tell you how much it's helped with trauma and its aftermath I've had for 45 plus years. And the really incredible thing is, imagine if you had dealt with it then, right? I mean, I did the same thing. We all do the same thing. Wow, I have a big play button on my face. Let's see if we can get rid of that. That would be Spanx Calhouni. Hold on one second, people. Look at that. I'm back. But I've heard this from so many people. I really have. And I'll tell you something. You know what? Marriott is great. It's so damn good. It really is. We're also going to be getting a lot more people to journal because the I won't say the name. I was about to, Calhoun, but I won't say the name yet. But the journal coming from Calhoun and Father should be there. Should be coming out here shortly. It is off to be printed. So, how good is that? Congratulations. It is really good to hear that they got it all, right? That's sometimes a very frightening thing, but it is awesome to hear that they got it all. Thank God. Seriously, thank God. That's awesome. Just being me, that's a very kind thing to say. I would like to believe that that is the truth. I would think that I'm here like everybody else, I'll be honest with you. But I think that this coming together stuff, I think that this connection thing is real. I really do. And I'm watching some pretty incredible things happen in a lot of people's lives. It's great. It really is. Also, I got 2 or 3 things in the hopper that I told you 2023 was going to be all about just doing collabs. And 2024, we really do not have to. That was the idea. However, because of the, I guess because we had a really good year in 23, I'm not reaching out. I'm not doing a whole lot of stuff, but there's a lot of people that are reaching out to us. And some of the stuff I'm going to be doing collabs because if you're starting a channel here, I'll collab with you. I mean, I'm sorry, I will. If you wrote and you haven't heard back from me, it's because I haven't gotten to it yet. I promise, but I will collab with all of you. If you are doing a show, I will help build every single person from the Lifeboat that starts a channel. I will be happy to do that right away. I really will. It means a lot to me. Other than that, there are some people that have reached out to me that have audiences, right? People that have reached out to me that have a reach that is so much bigger than anything we could have possibly imagined, but they are so in line with what we do. I would never, ever, I promise, I would never go somewhere and do something that's going to be out of line with what we do, but I will be really stoked to continue to take the boat bigger by working with like-minded individuals in 24. What I will not do is spend all of my time running around not doing shows because of that. You had me at Mike Rowe. Oh, that is so funny. You know what, Karen? It must be some kind of divine intervention. I am never on my computer twice for your live. I won't lie to you. After this morning, doing this one, we were going to do something that was completely different, but I thought of you. I thought of this morning. This morning's boat was great. Absolutely great. Scooby-Doo says, question, I saw A.A. Ron on Jordan B. Peterson. What did you think of it, Captain? I thought that A.A. Ron did a really nice job of getting the message out of what that cult is. That's what I think. I think that was done well. Now, Jordan Peterson is a guy that flexes using vocab, right? He does. It's his shtick. Whether he realizes it is or whether it's just who he is a very, very intelligent guy. However, one of the greatest gifts of intelligence is talking so that the people you're speaking to understand what you're saying and never feel like you're talking down to them or trying to impress them, right? It should just be communication. Now, I love I love listening to Jordan Peterson, right? But I got a smoking vocabulary and I got to take notes and go back and look stuff up, right? That dude's a difficult guy to listen to. And I'm not a guy with a bad vocabulary. I dig him. He pushes me, all right, but I listen to him very much as a speaker. And he uses a lot of word salad. That's a nice way to put it. Rhonda, that is a very nice way to put it. Yeah, a lot of people do call him a blowhard. I've heard people say that. He is. I'll be honest. There are people who are incredibly deep thinkers, and when you meet them, you don't necessarily always meet them in. You meet them sometimes in the strangest of places. I'll tell you something. I met a dude in prison that was one of the most intellectually gifted people I've ever met in my life, right? But he wasn't trying to impress anybody. And I promise you that when he and I had a conversation, it was so much different than when he had a conversation with the next person or the next person. And because I was in this person's orbit for a long time, I watched how they talked with everybody. And if Q was talking to somebody really, really, if he talked to the person's vocabulary, maybe encouraging them, but not making them ever feel stupid. Debbie, we don't know what ends up on the cutting room floor, honestly. I don't know exactly, there's a lot of stuff that needs to come out. I think it's really, really hard because a lot of times there are parties involved. Not saying this happened, right? Not saying this happened, but I've had people that will say to me, here are 5 things you can't say if you come on my show. And I had one show that I went on that sent me a list of the things that I could not say. And there were words I could not say. And the list was probably 75 words. I'm not exaggerating. You could not. I looked at this list and just went, you know what, fellas, I don't know how much you're going to enjoy doing an interview with me. Like, I say cocaine. That's on the banned word list. And it took 2 years. For 2 years, they just flagged every single video I did. But you know what? What am I going to do? I mean, that's the subject matter. The stuff that comes granulated, the S stuff, not the C stuff. You know how stupid I'm going to sound to people who just show up here, right? You'd be like, the hell's he talking about? So we say coke, we say heroin, right? Be damned, man. It probably hurts us. I'm sure that we don't get pushed as far as we would, but at least about 5 months ago, we started getting to where they actually monetize what we're doing. And that's pretty damn rare, for us, because in the beginning, everything we did was demonetized. Everything. I did think that. I think that's a good point. Absolutely. Aaron spoke about his life and then saying there are very nice people stuck in the cult. Yeah, you know what? All of us who have not been in the never ends, I'm a never end. And I may be a little less guilty of it than most, but even though I had a bunch of acquaintances who were Scientologists, Spanky probably doesn't remember, but I had a business associate for a long time who was a Scientologist, and he would come to our home in Utah and he would stay there. Like he would stay at the house. Calhoun would know him by name, probably didn't know he was a Scientologist, but a lot of people think Scientologists, we look for the weird eyes. You ever heard people say that? They got those cult eyes, right? All of that's hurtful stuff. It is. Because if somebody escaped that, it's just like being a drug addict and hearing somebody call you a junkie piece of crap. Just because you escaped, right? I've told the story on here so many times about the cruel little woman in the last state that I lived in who said to me, I just don't know how you could work with the kind of piece of human trash that you work with. I said, run that by me again. Talking about drug addicts, and I said, I'm one of those. I'm the Pied Piper of the people you're talking about, right? That's my group. I am one of them. Right? I don't know that that they get it, right? And I think it's important so that people realize that they're human beings, right? Human beings that want to have the best life possible. Nobody at 12 says I want to be a junkie when I grow up, and nobody at 12 says I'd like to be in a cult. You understand why there is so much synergy between the two? And if you're able to escape from either, don't think it's over, right? The hurting doesn't stop because you quit getting high, and the hurting doesn't stop because you get out of that damn cult. There needs to be a whole lot of work to be done for all of us, right? To um, have a healthy and a productive life. You know something? I want to tell you, I just hope that this is a trend. I really do. I just hope that this is a trend. I've probably read this in the last 6 or 7 shows. This has been popping up, and I just love it. I love it. I love the phrase "I see you." I just think that that's a very cool thing. I just think it's a very cool thing. It's what we're talking about right now. I managed to not look at Scientologists. I managed to walk by that building. If somebody is hurting or if someone's having a bad day, it's nice to be seen. And sometimes, we see people in the comment section and someone will say, I'm struggling with X, Y, or Z. And if they don't seem to be interacting with anybody else, or it's just a beautiful phrase to say, I see that you're having a tough time and I'm here. Like Tracy right there. Tracy, I see you. Right? This is a great example, right? I see you. I see you. The last 3 days have sucked. You're not alone. A lot of people who have had a rough couple of days. I really am happy you're here. And I am really happy that you said that out loud. All right. Glad you're here. So is Michael J. This is the concept of why, guess what? I don't care if you've ever been on drugs. I don't care if you've ever had a drink. And I honestly don't care what the mechanism is that starts having a bad 3 days. I just want connection to be what helps you get through the fact that the last 3 days sucked. Does that make sense? And for that reason, we will always be live. We will not be doing videos. Okay? Because this is a place that people can come and interact with one another and feel like they belong because they can be seen, heard, and understood, right? That's a pretty cool thing. And I'll be honest, it doesn't even happen in the places that it should. It doesn't happen in the real world. I'm going to say full-blown crying. I don't know that ugly is the right word. And I think it's sad that we kind of think it's this way in society, right? It is one of those things. But I want to tell you something. Tears are beautiful. I promise. They wash out bad stuff. And they're the telescopes through which we view whatever it is you view. For me, it's the telescopes through which I view God. If not, it can be the telescopes you view the internal workings of your mind and of the universe or whatever. But don't run from tears, right? It's the burnt leg tribe, right? Run into the fire. Go with those tears, ride them out, journal about them, see what's bringing them on, because tears are a good thing. They are excellent. The emotions are busting to the surface and they're coming forth in water. Now, let out the emotions through your mouth via communication, or they will tear a hole in you some other way to get out. Right? But this is good stuff. Well, midnight, we're glad you're here. And that's not necessarily such a bad thing. I often catch the replay crew and still feel connection. Now that's cool. That is so cool. This is stressful. And I think a lot of people here could at least imagine what a scary call that would be. And you know what? It might happen. It might. It might not. I've been through a couple of events in my life where we got news from the doctor that was just so horrendous that you just thought, oh God, don't let this be true. You know, um, I remember a doctor telling my then wife and I at the time that our daughter had a half a heart. She was still going to be born, but there was only a half a heart working. And I thought, there's just not enough dope on earth. You know, I was still using it. There just wasn't enough dope on earth. Like my use went through the roof. I've never done more dope in my life. That stretch was insane because I could not make it go away. No matter how much dope I did, I couldn't make it go away. And that's really rare stuff. My kids are a weak spot. I could shoot away just about any problem I had. It was difficult. If my kids were in trouble, it was hard. But you know what? She had a half a heart. It was not, wasn't, that's how it was done. But thank God my wife at the time had a lot more on the ball than I did, because her response was to sit down and go, okay, so what's the game plan? What do we do from here? You know, what are we looking at? And just, I mean, got tough. God bless her. I mean, at that point, I think she was already done with me at that point. I didn't know that yet, but she was tough as hell through that whole process, and I wasn't. So it's probably a really beautiful thing that she was. But I learned things from watching her. I'm not even kidding. Later on in life, my older sister called me and she said, your niece just ran through a sliding glass door. She went to run outside and thought there was no door there and ran through it. And a huge chunk of glass fell and cut the back of her leg. She was a young girl, very small, but it cut her from just above the knee. I mean, just below the knee, rather, all the way down, past the Achilles tendon, everything, deep and ugly. And my sister called me just, I mean, horrified, and said, she's never going to run. She might walk, but she's never going to run again. I said, who told you that? Right? She said, well, the doctor said. I said, the doctor doesn't know what the hell is going to happen to her in 4 years, 5 years, much less the rest of her. What the hell kind of stupid thing is it? Don't hang crepe, right? And I'm not talking about you. This is what I said to my sister. Let's go the other way. Let's go the other way and just go, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, she'll run like hell. Maybe she'll have the grace. And I'll tell you something. I remember my sister sending me a picture of her in high school doing the long jump, which she competed at in high school. And this girl ran like a gazelle. She still has a very large and ugly scar on the back of her leg. It's faded greatly over the years. And she's a beautiful, beautiful girl. But she runs like a gazelle. But boy, oh boy, my sister was ready to cash in her chips because it's awful, right? When Spanx Calhoun was aboard, the doctor said to us, listen, there might be something wrong with his feet, the way they toe in. I'm not joking you. I grabbed the dude. Like, I had the doctor by his collars. What the hell do you mean there's something wrong with my kid? Like, I had something wrong with me, right? I couldn't even take that kind of news. You got your journal out today? So I'm talking about, creepy. Get that journal out. I want to tell you something. The doctors can give you an opinion, but it isn't up to them what can actually happen. Miracles happen every day. When I had my stroke, I was dragging a toe. Once I finally got out of the wheelchair and I got a cane, I dragged my toe. Like, I would wear out a pair of shoes really quickly. The right foot would just wear out really, really quickly. And I just could not get it. So I had to use a cane. And I remember going in and talking to the doctors, and this guy said, you know what? That's probably going to be as good as it gets. But you're walking. And I was like, you know what, man? Well, I won't tell you what I said, but you get the idea. And do I walk perfectly? I don't. I don't. I mean, I would look perfect to you. I promise I'm not. We'll pop that one up. We won't save that one to the end. Hold on. What did I just do? Struggling with connection with my daughter. She's developed a medical issue, and they will be delivering her baby next week, if not before. I'm scared. Yeah, it's hard. I remember I was terrified. Especially, the connection thing. I don't know what the issues are, Lisa, and I would never want you to share them right now with the entire world. It would be bad for them. It really would. But what I can tell you is this. This is your baby, right? There's a bond there that whatever's happening, I robbed banks and went to prison, right? You look from the outside, there's no chance this dad puts together a healthy relationship with his kids. Not a possibility, right? I have great relationship with both of my kids. The reason is there's a connection there that can't be explained. There is. There is a relationship and there's a connection that cannot be explained. So know that, and don't give up, right? Let her know you're there. We don't push, right? But let her know you're there. And you know what? I like the prayer thing. I really do. And keep talking to us. Keep letting us know what's up, right? That's essential. Keep letting us know what is up. That really is a big deal. Pauline, good to see you. Glad that you're here. I am lucky. Make no mistake. I am lucky. Thank you. I really am. This is do you love this? Oh, Tommy, the horror. My daughter at 3 months in the pediatric intensive care unit. Doctors told us to prepare ourselves that she wouldn't make it until morning. The worst, really. And now 31 years later. How good is that? How good is that? Now your 34-year-old daughter is still, that's beautiful stuff, isn't it? Well, my daughter is 20, or will be shortly. No, she is 20, yeah? Calhoun, help me. I'd hate to be wrong. No, she's about to be 20 in April. Pretty sure she's going to be 20 in April. If I'm wrong, nobody tell her. All right? You're sworn to secrecy. But I know when her birthday is. I don't screw up any of the big stuff. You know what? Putting boundaries on yourself is huge. Knowing when you have to say, I got to walk away right now. It hurts when people don't understand. It hurts when people take it personally. Guess what? I'm not going to get high or risk my sobriety for someone else's feelings. I'm sorry, I can't. I've done a lot of things really, really stupid that have caused me to screw up my life, and I'm not going to do it anymore. I used that word for the first time the other day in regards to myself, too. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a really weird feeling, but I was triggered. Oh, wow. That's a really cool thing to say. Thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. I mean that. That's a nice thing to say. Scooby-Doo says, I was born with a hole in my heart, still going strong at 47. Excellent. It does feel weird to say we were triggered. I agree with you, but you know what? It happens, right? It really does. It does happen. We didn't know it. We would have said, we had different words for it, right? That they didn't invent being triggered. They gave it a word, right? They gave it a word. But that's been happening to, that's been happening to people since the dawn of addiction, right? So-and-so said something. I got so upset. I went out and I had a drink, right? That's the kind of thing that people used to say. I got so pissed at her. I said, screw it. And I went out and got some drugs. Those are the kind of things that people said. They didn't do the trigger thing, but it's the exact same thing, isn't it? One way or the other. Do you know why it's not such a bad thing to have a name to put to it, right? Honestly, so that you can say to somebody, I mean, it unfortunately is being abused, right? There are people who use it. Now what it means to a lot of people is, I don't like what you're saying, right? That shouldn't be what it means. If, you could say, hey, I don't agree with you, but now it's a catch-all, right? Because if you do say that, no one can say another word to you, can they? Old schoolers call it white knuckle. Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of that term. In fact, whenever I say it, I like to go like this. All right. spent 5 years, my first 5 years of sobriety were white-knuckling it. And I had all of the tools in place. I was doing everything I could. It was white-knuckling it. It really was. I was in really, really bad shape. Thankfully, here I am at 8.5 years, and I still have not done anything. So thank God. Triggered in my days was wow. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Wow, any of those, right? I can't believe you just said that. You really hurt my feelings, right? All of those things. Thank you, sweet Liberty. I promise you, freaking out. That's probably the best one, right? Alarm bells are going off. I'm not joking. Like my the ex, I used to just say, it's happening. And she knew exactly what that meant. You know, I'll get the coats, right? I'll get the keys. Let's get the hell out of here, you know? The situation I was in, the room I was in, the party, the dinner party, whatever. In the UK, we call it having a whitey. Wow, that's way cooler. I'm about to hit 10 years of sobriety. J9, I hope you're going to come here on that day so that we can make a massively huge deal of it. Just in case you blow us off that day. Congratulations on a decade, but we would really like to make a big deal on that day. So please be here. Please be here that day. Huh? In the beginning, that's what you should do. In the beginning, that's what you have to do. I think in the beginning, that's what you have to do. And you have to know your limits, right? So put yourself in a position, don't put yourself in a position that you're going to need to run that. I think that that's genius, really. And I think that the longer you practice safe practices, and the longer you dedicate yourself to finding out who you are and to actually journaling and working on issues and finding out what caused the symptom of alcoholism or drug abuse or whatever was causing you the problems. If you're working on all of those things, a day is going to come where you can go, I promise. How do I know that? Because I white-knuckled it for 5 years, right? I white-knuckled it for 5 years. Keep journaling. You're going to uncover something, and it's literally going to be the epiphany. I promise you, there is something out there that's like the Rosetta Stone for so many addicts that once you find this, you're like, this is why I've been doing what I'm doing. If I can address the issue and if I can come to grips with the issue, well, then I'm not going to have to get high again, right? Well, it certainly worked for me, right? I'm 8.5 years sober, and I have not white-knuckled it in the last 3.5 years. I have not. I have bad days. I have days that it's a whitey. Yeah, there are those days. I promise. There are days I got to run like the wind. I have a great crew of people. I have peer support for days, and I got a family that cares. I am blessed. I really am. I am blessed. But if you just got here, to reiterate, I don't care if you've ever done drugs. I don't care if you've ever been addicted to anything. I don't care if you're here because you feel like you're addicted to something else. I don't care if you don't think there's an addiction anywhere in your life, but you just want connection. Everybody needs connection. And if you got your crap together and you've never done anything wrong, it doesn't mean you need connection any less than a drug addict does. But it will mean the exact same thing if you don't get it. You follow me? It will be like smoking 15 cigarettes a day or like doing 6 mixed drinks a day. It will begin to hurt you physically, emotionally, right? It will. I promise. It does not. It does not at all. Hold on one moment, please. Hello? 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 Okay, maybe not. Sorry, people. That in Scotland, whitey means, oh, you've had too much to drink. Oh, I got you. It takes years. It may. Some people seem to discover it very early on. Some people, it takes years. It certainly took years for me. But I'll tell you what, if you're willing to keep coming back here, I will. And the amazing thing is, other people are going to come here and they're going to bring things to the party that are going to make this journey easier. It's going to make this journey more fun. And we take away little nuggets, right? Little things that we come, you talk about sobriety long enough and things pop up where you go, damn, that makes sense, right? Sorry. Hey, speaking on journaling, I started today on your suggestion from yesterday on your first memory of making a change that made you scared or intimidated. Holy hell, I filled 2 pages. Well, hello. Hello. How good is that? There really is. I think that this is a fact. Am I biased? Well, I did kind of start this puppy. I mean, there's some bias there, but I do believe having a support crew. I think, listen, if you're doing 12 steps, right, and you're going to meetings on the street, fantastic, right? That is an excellent support system. If you're not, this can be a support system for you. I promise it can. And it's here for as much as you want it to be. The nice thing is we're here every single day. So if you need us, you know where to find us, right? It's that simple. Alan Ballantyne. Alan, I've been getting an awful lot of people reaching out to me who are really worried about you, Alan. I keep telling people you're all right. You got a fan club, Alan. It's getting a little out of control around here. He's on his way back, people. He booked his travel. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I love that you're writing stuff down. I really do. Angie Moe, looking good and green. We love you, Alan. I really do. I can't wait for Alan to come back. We had a pretty epic time when he was here the last time, but we're planning on taking it up a notch. We were talking about it. It's gonna get pretty crazy this next time. And there's going to be an opportunity to meet a bunch of you. We're gonna set this thing up, but we'll talk about that a little bit further down the road as we start getting just a pinch closer. We'll talk about that. But it's looking like there's going to be an opportunity for all of us to maybe hang out a little. We're going to spend some time together. All right, everybody. I will be back this evening at about 5:00. Poor Spanky is getting ready to go out into what is probably a blizzard because he looks like he is. Battening down the hatches. Honestly, the kid looks like he's about to go into the Bering Sea to look for crab. What's happening, Calhoun? You're scaring me.
Yo, I am about to go into the blizzard, but
can't hear you. You're gonna have to unmute that puppy, I think. Let's try that one. There you go. No,
it's you 100% of the time. 100% of the time.
Let me see if I can go like. Now try it.
How about now?
There you go. I don't know why that big white button was on, but I needed to back out and then come back in. You're snowed
for some
in.
reason. It's you 100% of the time. 100% of the time. Yeah, no, I am about to go out in the blizzard, and a young man needs to go grocery shopping. So,
good
gonna
for
brave
you.
it.
How bad is it out there, man?
It's not coming down at the current moment, so that's pretty sweet. But I'm gonna be wading through snow for sure.
You're post-holing?
Post-holing.
Yeah. When you have to walk and it's like, it's up to you. They call it post-holing.
Yes. I'm going to post-hole at least some of the way.
Duff's the rhymes. If we miss you, you have a great weekend. Say it again, Calhoun. Sorry.
I'm gonna be post-holing it up. I will, Kristen. Thank you.
Well, I want you to be safe, Calhoun. He said, do me a favor and shoot me a text when you get back home, huh?
I will. I don't think I have anything extra special to share. It's good to see all of you though, every day.
Okay, good. Love you, Calhoun. All right. What's that? Let's do this real quick. Andrew, that's what I'm talking about. Andrew, the heat seeker Boyle. He burns himself on the regular. You're looking good and green, my man. Really looking good and green. Jen Nelson, never been addicted, but I've lived with one and it took its toll. Absolutely. Let's see. Jen Nelson, thank you so much, Jen. That is 5. Happy new ensigns, looking good and green. And Zach D, also looking good and green. a long time friend of the boat, Lisa Trimble. Yeah, we as we said, you know what, Lisa, I'm praying for you on this one, and I know a lot of other people are as well. Angie Mo, so glad that you're here, and I'm so glad that you're in green. You know what time it is, don't you, people? You do. It is time for that cat in a basket. You know what that is? That right there, people. That is a cat in a basket. All right, everybody. I love you, and we'll see you on the next one. All right. Bye-bye.